Hey everyone, I'm back with my second video. And like I mentioned on my the first video that I did today, this second one is only going to be on my TBR for August. And when I went back and was looking back through some of the books that I had on my TBR, I realized that I had 2 more books on there that I hadn't finished. Yeah. Well, I finished one of them. It was Laura Lee Guthrie, The Truth About Love and Dukes. I did finish this one and it was okay. It's a historical, and it was about what her name is, Irene and Henry. Henry is the Duke of Trequarl, and Irene, she runs her father's publishing house, or she publishing, because her dad, let's just say, he wasn't doing good by the business and he was drinking a lot, so she took over the business. It's been in their family for a long time, so she wanted to keep it going, so she took over the publishing business, and they've been publishing magazines, and they have a what's the column called, Dear Lady True Love column. And Henry's mother writes to Dear Lady True Love about because she's fallen in love with the art instructor. And she wanted to know what to do about it. And Irene, who's writing as Dear Lady True Love, tell her to go for it. And so Henry, he's not going for that, so he goes to the office and he want to meet Dear Lady True Love, and he figures out that it's Irene. And that's how their little thing gets started. And it was okay book. It's not going to be a keep for me. I didn't read anything that that I really would want to read again. But if you just like a good little romance, I would recommend this. But it just wasn't a keeper for me. The Truth About Love and Drugs, and I'll give it 3 stars. And this is by Laura Lee Guthrie, The Truth About Love and Dukes. Did I say drugs? I hope not. The Truth About Love and Dukes. It was an okay book. I'll just say it was a good book. And if you want to check, and if you have checked it out, did you enjoy it? Is it going to be a keeper for you? Let me know, and let me know down below what you thought about the book. And also, I realized I had on my TBR that I haven't went back and started reading it yet, but I am reading on it. It's Elle Kennedy's The Score. I think I mentioned this before in another one of my videos. I'm not going to go over it or anything because I mentioned it in another video that I was reading this, and I didn't like the cover. She got a new cover on her books, but this is the old cover. I like her old covers better. This is the old cover. I think I wanted to show you. I think I didn't get to show you the old cover, but this is the old cover, and I think I showed the new cover in my other video. If you want to see that, you can go back and look at that video. I don't know what video it was though, but I did give a little description of this, and it's The Score, and it's a sports romance. I'm also reading on this. And so I'm just going to add that to my August TBR too. And here's the books that I put on my August TBR. I know I mentioned this in my last video. This is a reread for me. I really enjoyed it. Like I mentioned in my other video, I really enjoyed it. It's A Season to Be Sinful, Joe Goodman. This is going to be a reread. I'm going to save this for last. After I finish reading all these other books, I'm going to reread this again. But I'm going to put it on my TBR for August. I want to read, this is The Duke, Kerrigan Byrne. I can never pronounce her last name, but I like her writing style too. I read quite a few of her books there, and I've enjoyed all of them. And this is The Duke, Kerrigan Byrne. Hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. Next up on my TBR is going to be Christina Dodd's Wilder. I think this is a paranormal romance. I'm going to read this one. I'll read a little bit of the synopsis. As a young man, Alexander Wilder abandoned his duty, and for that lapse, he has been tortured, tormented, and transformed. Now he prowls the tunnel beneath the city, fighting on the front lines against the forces of hell, never daring to dream that he can live as a man again. After 7 years of battling the world's ultimate evil, chosen one, Christina Fangroy, has become a tough, strong warrior without illusion or joy. Even her gift of hearing the earth song has faded. Deaf to her own instincts, she never suspects that a monster lurks in the dark underneath the streets. When Alexander finds Christina being attacked, he rescues and cares for her, and hope stirs once more in his heart and in the world. But in the secret recesses of his soul, he knows the truth. A woman so exceptional could never love a beast, could she? And that's going to be Christina Dodd Wilder. And I read a little bit of The Duke. I don't know if I read, I think I mentioned this book on here before, but I don't know if I read the synopsis. I know it was one of my hauls. I know I did a haul on this, but I don't know if I read the back, so I'll read a bit of this. Strong as a Viking, handsome as Adonis, rich as Midas, Colin Cole Tremaine, Duke of Trentwith is the stuff that legends are made of. He's the English Empire golden son until fate has its way with him. Cole's family is killed and his closest comrade betrays him on the battlefield, leaving him gravely injured. But Cole is not one to dwell on misfortune. He is a man of duty, honor, and desire, and now he's ready for the fight of his lifetime. Imogen Pritchard is a beautiful lass who works in a hospital by day and as a servant maid at night. Years ago, when she was young and penniless, she ended up spending a scandalous night with Cole, whose tormented soul was matched only by his earth-shattering passion. Imogen entered a marriage of convenience, one that left her a wealthy widow, but she never forgot Cole. So that's The Duke, Kerrigan Bryant, and then Christina Dodd Wilder. And next I have Penelope Williamson, The Passion of Emma. She's another one of favorite author of mine. I think she's a good writer too. So this is going to be on my TBR for this month. Next month. I keep saying this month. I'm ready for August to get here. What is going on with that? Emma Tremaine's world was a closed one of mansions and balls, and eventually marrying a rich man who would be chosen for her. She knew nothing of the mill worker who toiled in her family's factory or of their desperate struggle to survive until two Irish immigrants opened her eyes and her heart. Briar, a young woman dying of consumption yet filled with the joy of living, and Shay McKinnon, a revolutionary and idealist fighting for social justice. Now with a newly realized passion for life, Emma is willing to defy her past for both a cause and the man she loves. So that's Penelope Williamson, The Passion of Emma. And next I have on my list, on my TBR here, it's going to be Twilight by Kit Gardner. I think I mentioned her before on this channel. I like her writing too. And I'll read you a little bit of this. What strange twist of fate had led Rance Logan to a woman widowed by his own hand? He'd been trying to escape the past, only to run smack into it again in the form of Jessica Wing, a frail beauty with a spirit of steel, a woman much too good for the likes of him. Jessica's first sight of the man she knew as Stark had been over the business end of a rifle, but it wasn't long before she realized that she would trust him with her life. For though the townfolk treated the hunted drifter as a stranger, Jessica Hart had already recognized that this was the man she was destined to love. And that's Twilight by Kit Gardner. And last but not least, I have Kaki Warner. I hope I'm pronouncing that first name right. Kaki Warner, Pieces of Sky, and this is a historical western. And I'll read you a little bit of this right here. On a stagecoach traveling through New Mexico territory, Jessica Thornton is a long way from the cool mist and lush garden of her native England. An authoress and milliner, she carries the weight of a scandalous secret, a horrible shame that has brought her to the West on a desperate search for the only family she can trust, her brother. No one prepared Jessica for the heat and hardship, or for a man like Brady Wilkins. Despite the rancher's rough-hewed appearance and her own misgiving, Jessica put her life in his hands after their stagecoach crashes, and begins to see the man behind the callous hands and caustic wit. A man strong enough to carve out a home in the wilderness, and passionate enough to restore her faith in herself and her heart. And that's Kaki Warner, Pieces of Sky. So these that's all I have are these. I'm going to put on, all these are on my TBR for August. And like I said, that's going to be Kaki Warner, Pieces of Sky, a historical western. Kit Gardner, Twilight, Harlequin historical western. Penelope Williamson, The Passions of Emma, historical. Christina Dodd Wilder is a paranormal. The Duke by Kerrigan Bryant, historical, and a reread for me, a historical by Joe Goodman, A Season to Be Sinful. And that's all I have on my TBR for August. And I'm gonna, hopefully I can get one more video in today. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. But that's all I have for now. Have a good evening. See you later. Keep reading those romances. Bye bye.